My neighbor's an asshole. But me? I'm a bigger one. If he wants to play dirty, I'll get filthier. I'm not calling the cops. I'll keep this game going till he begs the cops to save him. I've been bad since I was a kid. Got expelled from college for fighting. Bummed around at home, picking fights, driving my parents' blood pressure through the roof. They finally snapped, cashed out their savings, and bought me a secondhand apartment just to get me the hell out of their sight. Freedom at last. I was just thinking about finding some fun when the folks across the hall practically volunteered. Turns out they're a whole damn family of troublemakers. And I love that. Let me tell you how a certified bastard like me drove an even worse family straight into madness. Started small. They'd pile their trash by the front door and just let it rot for days, waiting for the building manager to come clean it up. At first, I didn't care. But then one Sunday morning, I opened my door and got hit by a wall of stench that nearly made me gag. I don't know what they had in that garbage bag. Probably rotten eggs, but it was foul enough to wake the dead. Fuming, I stomped over and banged on their door. A woman in her 40s opened it. She was decently kept, but her face had the permanent scowl of a tough bitch. She snapped, "What do you want?" "Your trash reeks," I said. "Mind taking it out already?" She rolled her eyes. "If it stinks so bad, you throw it out. Why bang on my door?" "Bingo. Tough bitch." I gave her a little smile. "Sure thing." I bent down, grabbed the bag, and hurled it straight into their apartment. She screamed like I'd thrown a live snake at her. Then came the cussing. "You little bastard. You just moved in and already want to die?" Right on cue, her husband came out. Greasy, fat, yellow-toothed. Saw me, didn't even speak. Just marched into the kitchen and came back with a kitchen knife. He looked dead serious, and for a second, I almost flinched. But I stuck my neck out and taunted him. "Go ahead. Let's see what you got. If you don't stab me today, you're a limp dick. Your wife's getting ridden by half the block. Your kid's probably next." He froze, then flew into a rage, knife raised high. But his wife grabbed his arm. Guess she realized I was a tough bastard too, and pulled him back, still screaming insults. The knife never landed, thanks to the chaos. But I wasn't backing down. I unloaded 20-some years of stored-up insults. Throat out, chest forward, full-on verbal warfare. Even my dog, Bro Blade, came out barking like hell. That fat fuck turned the knife toward Bro Blade, yelling he'd gut him. I held my dog in my arms. "Come on, kill us both." Eventually, the racket got loud enough to pull the neighbors out. A few folks came to break things up. The woman took that chance to spit a few more insults at me, then dragged her husband back inside and slammed the door. Before disappearing, he pointed at me and yelled, "You little shit. Your good days are over." I grinned. "Can't wait. Make it quick." 3 aunties from the building pulled me downstairs. "Kid, you've got guts," one of them said. "That family? They've been tyrants here for years. Nobody dares mess with them. The guy before you moved out because he couldn't stand their crap. That pissed me off even more." I asked what they did for a living. One said, "The guy runs a pet and bird shop. The wife sells clothes. They make decent money. That big Toyota parked out front, always blocking the gate? It's theirs. No wonder no one dared say a word about the damn car. So this is who I'm dealing with? Perfect." I thanked the aunties, pretended like I'd let it go, then went back upstairs. But in my mind, the war had begun. You don't get a rival like this every day. I was going to ruin them. Sure enough, the next day they went nuclear. Don't know where they found them, but they dumped like 7 or 8 garbage bags in the hallway, nearly blocking the whole damn corridor. I remembered what the aunties said. If all else fails, complain to property management. Or the police. But whoever goes to the cops first is the coward. I smirked. "You want to play trash games? Let me show you what real garbage is." I marched back into my apartment, into the bathroom. Sat there for a minute, brewed up something special. Took a hot, steaming dump in a bag. Didn't even bother tying it, and dropped it right outside my door. Even I was impressed with my creativity. Competition really does inspire genius. Didn't even want to leave. I just wanted to stick around and listen. 10 minutes later, their door opened. And boom, the yelling started. They'd found my golden gift. Soon they were banging on my door like maniacs. This time, the whole trio came out. Their son? Annoying little shit. That kind of face that just begs to be slapped. Saw his parents shouting and decided to get in on it. Tried to bite my leg. I kicked him off like a soccer ball and slammed the door in their faces. They started pounding and screaming outside, the kid crying and swearing like a drunk sailor. Obviously learned from his parents. I didn't respond. Let em bang. My door's solid. You won't break it. I just sat back and let their rage simmer. They were at it for 10 whole minutes before dragging the property manager into it. Instantly, the couple flipped personas, turned into model middle-class citizens. Complained that I threw feces, that I kicked their kid, said I must be some kind of criminal. All they did was leave a little garbage, and now look how I overreacted. They even blamed the manager for not taking out their trash fast enough. The moral high ground? They tried to plant a damn flag on it. The manager was overwhelmed. Came knocking on my door. I turned on the TV and ignored him. They kept arguing outside for another 30 minutes before it finally died down. I cuddled Bro Blade and watched 2 full episodes of Breaking Bad before heading out. The hallway was spotless. Trash and shit? All gone. Must have been the manager. Honestly, it was too clean. I kind of missed the mess. I even looked forward to them trying again. I shit every day after all. Gotta put it to use. But nothing for 2 days. Maybe they realized they'd run into a real tough bitch and decided to cool it for now. I was a little disappointed. But I knew the real war was just beginning. You can't just wait when dealing with scumbags. You have to strike first, hit harder, and be worse than them if you want to win. And just like that, fate handed me another chance. Honestly, this family might be trash, but they're really doing their part to keep me entertained. Man, I gotta admit, these neighbors really kept the entertainment coming. Used to be they just kept a few pairs of shoes outside their door. But ever since the trash war cooled off, the shoes multiplied. Like they ran out of space inside or just stopped caring. Men's shoes, women's shoes, even pairs they probably hadn't worn in years. Their brat would sometimes kick them around, and a few ended up right at my door. I was delighted. So I went online, pulled out my burner account, and bought a bottle of itchy dust. Yep, the name says it all. Rub it on something, and whoever touches it won't stop scratching for hours. The stuff was made for petty revenge. Late that night, I tiptoed into the hallway and sprinkled a generous amount into every single shoe of theirs. Then I went back to bed, barely able to sleep from excitement. I couldn't wait for morning. Wanted to see them hopping around, itching like crazy. Sure enough, I was woken in the middle of the night by Furious pounding on my door. I rubbed my eyes and opened it. There she was, the tough bitch from across the hall, holding a pair of shoes in one hand and furiously scratching her foot with the other. She screamed, "Did you put itching powder in my shoes?" Her feet were red and raw from scratching. I couldn't hold in the laugh. Damn, that stuff works better than I thought. Feels good. Huh. That set her off. "You sick freak," she shrieked. "We were willing to let your bullshit slide. And this is how you repay us? God must really hate me to give me a neighbor like you." Then came the curses. She wished I'd rot from the inside out, that my whole family would die in the street, that I'd overdose on laxatives and shit my intestines out. Classy. But this time I lost my cool. All that verbal crap she threw at me the other day, still sitting in my gut. So I stared right into her crazy-ass face and slapped her. Hard. Felt amazing. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those real men don't hit women guys. I'm not a real man at all. I'm a certified bastard. She was stunned. Just laid there on the floor, momentarily forgetting she was itching. I didn't stop there. I whistled toward my apartment and called, "Bro Blade, get her." My dog bolted out, barking like hell, lunging right at her. She snapped out of her daze, screamed, scrambled to her feet, and ran back into her place, slamming the door behind her. Then came the wailing, screaming, sobbing, cussing, like someone had died, all the while yelling that I was abusing her. Meanwhile, Bro Blade looked up at me like a good girl, tail wagging. Didn't even bite. I patted her on the head. "Good job." We went back inside and shut the door. Of course, 10 seconds later, the door was getting pounded again. This time it was the husband. "I'm gonna kill you," he roared from outside. Oh, so this bastard had been hiding at home the whole time, sending his woman out to take the heat? Coward. I sat on the couch with Bro Blade, throwing her a chew toy, and let him shout his lungs out. But guess what? They called the cops again. 10 minutes later, there was banging at the door. Cop voices mixed in this time. I finally opened it. The husband looked like he was ready to explode. His wife's face was still red from the slap. He lunged at me, but the cops held him back. I laughed. "Go ahead, hit me. See how much that's gonna cost you. You know how much they charge for punching someone these days." He screamed, "You hit my wife. I'll kill you." His wife started fake crying again, milking it. One of the officers said, "Sir, I'm feeling dizzy just listening to all this. Might be a concussion. That's gonna be expensive. Didn't that rich guy get sued for $2 million for punching someone?" I said, "He'll probably have to give me his whole apartment." Total bullshit, but they didn't know that. I looked at the husband and added, "Wanna try me? Hit me right now and let's see how deep your pockets are." Cops barked at everyone to stand down, and they actually did. I was a little disappointed. One of them turned to me. "Did you strike her?" I kept my face blank. "Nope." The couple exploded. "He's lying through his teeth." I raised an eyebrow. "Got proof?" They didn't. No witnesses. No cameras. Just shouting. The cops shrugged. What could they do? I added, "Ask around. Everybody knows what kind of people they are. For all you know, he hit her and they're just framing me." The wife screamed, "Let's do DNA testing. If he slapped me, his DNA'll be on my face." I laughed. "You've been watching too many soap operas." I turned to the cop. "That even legit?" "Technically, yeah," he muttered. I grinned. "Come on, sis. You came at me earlier, saying your husband's a dud in bed and you wanted to try some fresh meat. You leaned in so close, I had to brush your cheek away. Of course my DNA's on your face." I paused, leaned forward slightly. "What's next? You want it inside you too?" "I'm a wholesome boy, lady. Keep your fantasies to yourself." They both blew up, faces purple with rage. Even the cop looked like he had a headache. He realized it now. This wasn't a victim and bully case. This was bastard versus bastard. I said maybe she was the one acting all horny earlier, and her husband saw it through the peephole. Then he smacked her around at home, so she tried to shift the blame to me to keep him calm. I told the cops, look, officer, maybe it wasn't me. Maybe her husband hit her, and now they're pinning it on me. The wife shouted, let's do a DNA test. You slapped me. Your palm's print will be all over my face. I chuckled. You've been watching too much CSI, right, officer? Is that even legit? The cop said, technically yes. I burst out laughing. Sis, seriously? You just hit on me a few minutes ago, told me your husband's old and boring in bed, and you wanted to try some fresh meat. I only touched your cheek because you came at me like a cougar in heat. Of course my DNA's on your face. What next? You want my DNA somewhere else too? Stop messing around. I'm a good, wholesome young man. The couple exploded. The cop frowned. He knew what this was. Two thugs going at each other. The cop explained that any DNA testing would have to be paid out of pocket and it would cost a lot. I chimed in. And even if you do it, it won't prove I hit you. That made them even angrier, ready to foam at the mouth. But the cop wasn't buying it, and neither was I. Eventually, some of the neighbors came out to smooth things over. One whispered something to the cop, who'd been patrolling our building for years and clearly knew what kind of scum these two were. The result? On-the-spot mediation. Everyone go home. They left gritting their teeth, eating shit in silence. Slammed their door on the way out. The fat guy glared at me one last time and hissed, you're done. From now on, your life is gonna be hell. Oh no, I said with a fake shiver. I'm so scared. I grinned and walked the cop out. As they left, they warned me to stop stirring up trouble. I nodded politely, full of fake respect. Back inside, I sat with Bro Blade on my lap, petting him and thinking, that slap? Yeah, I probably just escalated things. If those two had even a shred of spine, things were about to get way messier. God, I couldn't wait. But then, silence. For 3 straight days, not a peep. Then, on Saturday night, I took Bro Blade out for a walk. Just reached the front steps when he found a few cut-up hot dogs on the ground. He sniffed, ready to munch, but I yanked him back. Could be expired, could make him sick. Strangely, there were more hot dog pieces further along the path. Like someone had scattered them. I pulled him away each time. When we got back downstairs, I saw a crowd gathered. I pushed through and saw one of my neighbors from the 3rd floor, cradling his dog. The poor pup was dead. What happened? I asked. Choking back tears, he said. She ate one of those hot dog pieces. Must have been poisoned. I froze. The cops were called. After some back and forth, they confirmed the hot dogs were laced with pesticide. Deliberately placed. Then we checked the building's security cam. Guess who did it? The little demon kid from across the hall. It all made sense. The brat knew I walked Bro Blade every night. Those hot dogs were meant for him. A hit job. Cold-blooded revenge. Fucking hell. And he didn't even care if other dogs got caught in the crossfire. Ruthless little monster. The cops came knocking. But of course, there's nothing they could do. The couple insisted. He's just a kid. Kids mess around. And technically, killing a dog isn't a felony. So the cops gave them a stern talking to and left empty-handed. The lady from the 3rd floor? She was furious but also terrified. She didn't dare go against the neighbors from hell. She buried her dog quietly and swallowed her anger. But me? Hell no. This was clearly aimed at me. You want to use your kid to do the dirty work? You think I won't retaliate just because he's a minor? You clearly don't know me. I'm the kind of bastard who'll go after women and kids without blinking. And if you're trying to kill my dog, then I'm gonna go full dark. That night, I found out where the little shit went to school. Asked around, dug up some dirt. Turns out, the brat's a little tyrant. Rich kid syndrome. Steals snacks, takes lunch money, bullies girls. Once clawed a girl across the face for not letting him copy homework. When her parents came to the school, the boy brought his parents in too. Turned the whole thing into a screaming match. The girl's parents saw what they were dealing with and backed off. Like father, like son. Entitled. Arrogant. Always yelling. My dad will run you over with his SUV. Perfect. I called up a few of my low-life buddies. Big bullies need little bullies, right? And I knew a few punks who hung around that school. Slipped each of them $500. One mission. Beat that little shit every single day until he was too scared to go back. That night, I walked Bro Blade around and waited downstairs. Sure enough, the kid came home bawling. Face swollen from a slap, exactly as I'd instructed. Open palm, one cheek only, smack it till it puffs. He passed by me, eyes red. I stared at him cold, deep, unblinking. He bolted into the building. I followed slowly. Soon, the yelling began. His mom was on the phone with the school, screaming, my son's being bullied. You better do something. I was loving every second. For the rest of the week, the beatings continued. Different thug each day to avoid suspicion. Worst they'd get was detention. Monday to Friday. Nosebleed, black eye, swollen ear, bruised ribs. By the end of the week, the once arrogant kid was a nervous wreck. Jumped at shadows. Avoided eye contact. His parents raised hell at the school. No results. They finally gave up. With winter break coming in a few weeks, they pulled him out completely. Victory. You try to poison my dog? I'll break your kid. Gave each of my thugs another $200 as a bonus. Told them we'll work together again sometime. The couple went quiet for a few days. I even got some peaceful evenings. But then, boom. One night at 9 p.m., the guy came back, pounding on my door. I opened up with my phone already recording. "Don't touch me," I said. "One punch and your SUV's mine." He growled. "Cut the crap. I know you hired those punks to beat up my kid. You think you're a man now? Want to play big boy games? Come fight me, one-on-one." I kept a straight face. No idea what you're talking about. Of course he didn't believe me. Came at me swinging. I closed the door on his dumb face. He lost it, and I don't know where he got the idea, but soon enough, he dragged out a big-ass speaker and set it right outside his door. Cranked it up full volume. A full-on noise assault. I had to laugh. It was so pathetic it was almost cute. He blasted that crap for 3 straight hours. Songs like Little Apple and Ethnic Rhythm, loud, cheesy dance music. Everyone upstairs and downstairs was losing their minds, but no one dared knock on his door. I waited. At 2 a.m., he finally got tired and turned it off. My turn. I'd been saving this moment. I had a mini Sennheiser subwoofer, top-tier bass cannon. Didn't even need to open the door. My peephole had a flip-open slot. I taped the subwoofer right up to it, aimed at the hallway, hit play. Boom. A funeral lament flooded the building. Don't let the small size fool you. This thing hit like an earthquake. Even I got chills. It sounded like a national mourning day for a fallen hero. At 2 a.m., the hallway echoed with grief. My neighbors from hell stormed out, screaming that I was disturbing the peace, that I was trash, garbage. I smiled, put on headphones, and watched another episode of Breaking Bad, completely tuning them out. At some point, I fell asleep. Next morning, the lament was still playing, and so was his tacky dance mix. The duel had begun. He didn't call the cops this time. Guess he wanted to settle this like men. I went out. The neighbors gave me some strange looks. I felt a little bad for them, but hey, this was war, and nobody else was standing up to them. So for the whole day, it was grief versus disco, pain versus party, lament versus damn Little Apple. The building was chaos. Even I got annoyed. So I plugged the subwoofer into an extension cord, gave it 24/7 power, and took off on my big-ass Jiangchuan motorcycle to hide out at my parents' place. I don't know how the building survived the next 2 days. On day 3, the cops finally found my number and ordered me to come back and turn it off. I returned slowly. The cops were already at my door. My subwoofer still wailing. His speaker was gone. Turns out it was him who called the cops. Said I was disturbing the peace. I wasn't even mad. I was delighted. Another round to me. So much for being big bad bullies, they were just sore losers who couldn't even play dirty right. "How many times has your sorry ass called the cops already?" I said. I gave the officers a rough rundown. They already knew, of course. Knew exactly who the problem in the building was. The guy across the hall just happened to call first, trying to play the victim. Classic bully move. The cops could only give me another round of warnings. "No more trouble," they said. I gave them a solemn nod and promised to be good. Once they were gone, I noticed something odd. The power couple didn't even come out the whole time. Hiding now? Trying to play model citizens all of a sudden? Pretending to be law-abiding turtles? Nah, I was gonna rip that turtle's head out of its shell and make them come face me again. Like they said, man to man. And actually, that whole music battle had given me a brand new idea, something nastier. See, that greasy bastard across the hall ran a pet and bird shop. I'd seen it when I was a kid. My grandpa used to raise birds. Besides looks, the most valuable thing about those birds is their song. The sweeter they sing, the higher the price. We're talking nightingales, skylarks, Chinese thrushes. Beautiful little things that chirped like angels. And that, right there, was where I'd hit him. I pulled out an old Xiaomi speaker from storage and loaded my phone with a playlist of bird, dirty talk. Horrible audio of crows calling, wild jungle birds screeching, and whatever other nasty avian noise I could find. You know the type, loud, ugly, and completely off-key. Here's the thing. Once a pet bird hears that kind of noise, it learns it. And once it learns it, it never forgets. Which means game over. Value down the drain. Every bird owner's worst nightmare. So yeah, I was gonna mess up every damn bird in his shop. The next morning, I followed him on my motorcycle to the pet and bird market. Didn't take long to find his shop. Damn place was huge. From the looks of it, he was doing big business. Probably thought he was king of the jungle in there. I waited at a corner outside. Around noon, he stepped out. Perfect. Inside were just 2 tired-looking clerks. I strolled in, speaker tucked under my jacket. They barely gave me a glance. I walked around, browsing. Holy hell, he had a lot of birds, at least 30 to 40 good ones. Just the Chinese thrushes alone were stacked in rows, chirping like a choir. I found a blind spot in the surveillance cameras. Perfect. I slipped the Xiaomi speaker behind a cluster of bird cages and casually walked out. Once I was safely outside, I connected via Bluetooth and cranked the volume to max. Instant chaos. The shop went from bird paradise to barnyard nightmare. 'Cause screeches, squawks. It was like a convention of angry crow grandmas all bitching at once. And then, the good birds started learning it. Every single one joined in, bawk bawk, screech screech, scratchy screamy hell. You'd think the store owner had just died and his whole flock was grieving. The clerks were stunned, running around, trying to cover cages, yelling over the noise, breaking pots in the process. But it was useless. 10 minutes. That's all it took. The birds were ruined. Then my neighbor burst back into the shop. He stopped in the doorway, face twitching at the sounds. I could hear him cussing from outside. Guy looked like he wanted to strangle every last bird in the place. I pulled the phone out of my pocket, disconnected the speaker, and strolled away like nothing happened. He probably lost tens of thousands that day. Me? I was on cloud 9. Those birds? Maybe he'd release them into the wild. Maybe he'd stew them up for dinner. Either way, I'd done a good deed, ruined his business, and freed some animals. Look at me being a humanitarian and all. I wasn't used to it. That night, boom, door pounding again. Of course. They were back to their one and only tactic. I opened the door and saw both of them standing there. He was red in the face, eyes murderous. Left hand holding my Xiaomi speaker. Right hand holding his phone. I checked the footage, he growled. You went into my shop. This thing's yours, right? You sneaky little fuck, he said, teeth grinding. You know how much money I lost? I smiled. That your proof? Go ahead, call the cops. I didn't hit anyone. Didn't damage anything. Let's see what they do. Then I lifted my phone. Camera pointed right at him. You hit me, and you'll be shelling out another few grand. Think I'm bluffing? He was about to lose it. His wife jumped in, finger in my face, screaming, You little bastard. We've lived in this building for years and never had anyone dare go against us. You're picking a fight you can't win. She looked crazed. I swear. I'll make your ancestors regret ever being born. Looking at that snarling mug of his, I sneered. Good. I want to keep fighting. Let's keep going. Then I slammed the door in their faces. They kept yelling outside for a while, screaming, cursing, throwing their tantrum. Once they were all screamed out, they finally left. But I couldn't help wondering. What's next? What are they really gonna do? Set my house on fire? I didn't have to wonder long. Next morning, I went down to the garage, getting ready to hop on my motorcycle and head out. And there it was, my bike, absolutely wrecked. Headlight shattered, tires slashed, license plate missing. The works. I almost laughed. No doubt it was them. Who else? Slashing tires and breaking lights? That's the best they could do? I couldn't even be bothered to check the security cameras. The damage? Few grand tops. Chump change. I mean, I destroyed their whole damn bird business. Cost them tens of thousands. And this was their revenge? Sad. But hey, if they want to play dirty, I can teach them what real destruction looks like. That SUV of theirs, a big fat Toyota Prado? That thing was next. I got my supplies ready. A bag of sugar, a wrench, and a borrowed car from one of my buddies. For 3 days, I shadowed the greasy bastard wherever he went, just waiting for the perfect opportunity. Finally, the loser went to one of those sketchy foot massage joints. Definitely not for his feet, if you know what I mean. Couldn't find parking nearby, so he left his car in some shady back alley, then snuck into the shop like a damn cartoon villain. I didn't give a shit what he was doing inside. What I cared about was the Prado. I grabbed the sugar and wrench, popped his hood, twisted the engine cap open, and dumped in the sugar. Now for the record, sugar in an engine is straight up mechanical murder. Once the engine heats up, the sugar melts and flows into the pistons, gums everything up and hardens. Game over. Engine toast. Total write-off. Insurance won't cover it either. A buddy of mine who used to do shady car loans taught me that trick. Today, that knowledge paid off. I put everything back the way it was, wiped down the hood, and slipped back into my car like a shadow. 2 hours later, he came out, got into his car, started it up. He drove, maybe 200 feet. Then black smoke. Weird noises. Car sputtered to a halt. He got out, confused, popped the hood, and nearly screamed bloody murder. I was parked nearby, watching the whole show, nearly crying with laughter. Take notes, kid, I whispered to myself. This is how it's done. I bet the second he thought about it, he knew it was me. And I was sick of him banging on my door every other night, so I didn't go home. I headed back to my parents' place. All I could picture was him dragging that SUV to a mechanic, hearing the repair guy tell him it was totally fucked, hearing the insurance rep say, sorry, not covered, then hearing the price for a brand new engine. Oh, the breakdown must have been glorious. I laughed out loud just thinking about it. 3 days later, I finally went home. Weirdly, there were no new boot prints on my door, no signs of a break-in, no retaliation. I stayed home for a whole day waiting. Nothing. Had they really given up? Didn't feel right. This felt like that creepy silence before a massive storm. There was no way someone could let go of that kind of hate. Not after what I did. They were definitely cooking something big, and I couldn't wait. If my years of being a bastard had taught me anything, it's that when someone loses a car that expensive, they're gonna want blood. Not just revenge, they're gonna come for me. So I made some calls. Reached out to my boys, the same crowd I grew up with, pantsless in the alleyways. 3 days passed. I kept living normal, played it cool. Then, on Wednesday night, 10 p.m., I was walking home with a bag of fruit when a shadow crept up behind me. It was him, that fat bastard from across the hall. And he brought friends. A whole damn crew of muscle-bound goons. Showtime. I pretended to panic. He walked up and smacked me right in the face. Hard. Shit, that actually hurt. I clutched my cheek, putting on my best dumb guy act. Hey, why'd you hit me? He pulled out a steel baton and growled. My shop. My car. That engine's gone. You know what it cost to replace it? Enough to buy your damn life. Tonight, he spat. We're breaking your fucking legs. I kept the act going. But bro, you started it. You trashed my motorcycle. I was just returning the favor. He almost exploded. Your shitty little bike? You ruined my SUV over that? I shrugged. It's not about money. You smashed my bike because I didn't have a car. If I had one, you'd have smashed that instead, right? I just returned the favor. He was fuming. Enough, boys. Beat the hell out of him. No cameras here. Nobody's coming. Smash him to pieces. They rushed me. And then boom. I pulled out my secret weapon. Pepper spray. The good shit. Been warming in my pocket for 3 days. I hit all of them right in the face. They didn't even get a chance to swing. Screaming. Clawing at their eyes. Rolling on the ground like toddlers with chili powder in their eyeballs. This stuff hurts. Trust me. I tested it on myself once. Never again. With them flailing, I gave a low whistle. Suddenly, boom boom boom. Over 20 guys came pouring in from the alley. My boys. Bare fists only, just as I told them. No weapons, no legal trouble. But damn, did they get to work. They laid into those bastards. Kicked. Punched. Stomped them like a street fighting ballet. 5 minutes of pure, beautiful violence. Pretty sure at least 3 ribs got busted. My neighbor was curled up, face swollen like a melon, nose bleeding, begging for mercy. Enough, I said. Then I gave him one last parting gift. A steel-toed kick right to the ass. Retreat, I shouted to the crew. And like smoke in the night, we vanished. After that glorious beatdown, we all scattered, each man back to his cave. No reason to hang around and get busted as a group. Classic move. We'd been doing it since we were kids. But to be honest, I was still a little nervous the cops might show up. I mean, we didn't leave evidence or anything. But if the police really wanted to dig in and break us down, they could get something. So I waited. 2 hours. Nothing. Then it hit me, they weren't gonna call the cops. No way. Not after they were the ones who jumped me first. Sure, they got blacked out in the process, but it started with them. Just a case of thugs getting thuggier thugs. But I didn't expect this part. After all the hell I'd put them through, they really started to believe they were the victims. Like legit victims. As if I were the local bully and they were just some poor family caught in the crossfire. Around midnight, his wife suddenly dropped a dramatic post in the neighborhood WhatsApp group. A full-on trauma dump. She posted a picture from the hospital. Her arms in slings, covered in bloody bandages, and paired it with this ridiculously long sob story, basically accusing me of being a sadistic neighbor who organized a gang assault on her kind, hardworking husband. She went full Shakespeare tragedy. Said she was gonna rally the whole complex to stand against me. Even posted a photo of their son hugging his battered dad. Big puppy dog eyes brimming with tears. And I'll admit it, damn thing was effective. People in the group who didn't really know them started chiming in, calling me a disgrace, a neighborhood menace. Some even said they were gonna report me to the community committee. I didn't reply. I knew what they were thinking. Oh, he must be gathering evidence, planning a counterattack. But that's not me. Come on. I'm not the kind of guy who gathers evidence. I am the evidence. So I let the group chat simmer. Let the bleeding hearts do their thing. Then, when the outrage hit its peak, I dropped a single message. Just one. To that woman, I said, if you even fart another word, I swear I'll make it your last. The whole group chat went silent. It was glorious. And then, surprise, someone from our building actually spoke up in my defense. Said I wasn't the problem, they were. That family had been a menace to the building for years. Always stirring shit, disturbing the peace. And just like that, others started joining in. More and more neighbors, ones who'd been bullied or annoyed by them before, finally found their voice. The tide turned, and fast. I just lay back on my couch, eating fruit and watching it all unfold like a movie. No one praised me exactly, but the truth had come out. Good enough. Or so I thought. But no. That crazy family still had one last Hail Mary in them. They made a damn video. I swear to God. A full-blown, low-budget Revolutionary War propaganda video. Filmed in the hospital. All 3 of them, husband, wife, and their little snot-nosed kid. Standing side by side like they were about to declare war on fascism. Faces serious. Background music tragic. The message? We will never stop fighting this evil neighbor. Justice will prevail. Good people must stand up. Heaven helps the righteous. Blah blah blah. The kid even spat at the camera like he was in a gangster film. I nearly pissed myself laughing. They were absolutely out of their minds. But I'll give them this, watching them all huddled together like that, eyes blazing with unified hatred, I actually felt something. Not pity, but inspiration. They really did look like a solid little unit, like an unbreakable family fortress. And that just wouldn't do. If they wanted to use their togetherness to fight me, then fine. I'd just tear them apart from the inside. See, There's an old saying, only evil can conquer evil. Well, guess what? I am the bigger evil. My final plan was simple. Destroy their marriage. Make them turn on each other. Total implosion. No more teamwork. No more standing strong. Just betrayal, rage, and heartbreak. That night, I contacted 2 people. One, my ride-or-die girl. Grew up together. She's wild, rich, and couldn't give less of a damn. Started smoking and drinking in middle school. Slept with more men than I could count. Moved to the US for school. Got into a whole bunch of freaky stuff with foreigners. No shame, no limits. As she always said, with the right mindset, babe, who's using who? The other. My best bro, poor background, but damn, he's a 10. Like, movie star level hot. Picture a mashup of Chris Hemsworth and Timothée Chalamet. That kind of hot. Back in high school, he beat up a teacher and ran away. Since then, he's done it all. Hustled, stripped, maybe even more. But the thing I really admire? He once worked for 3 years in a luxury women-only club in Hangzhou, as a male escort. Every time he told us stories. Getting freaky with rich old sugar mamas in hotel rooms, their husbands' beds. I hung on every word like a wide-eyed kid at story time. So here was the plan. My girl seduces the husband. My boy seduces the wife. Then we get them both to the same place, same time. Boom. Walk in on each other. Full-blown cheating scandal. War at home. Divorce. Chaos. Let's see how united you feel after that. We launched the operation the next morning. My girl hit up the guy's pet shop. Went full disguise, super sweet and innocent. Normally she's a black lipstick, all-leather bad girl with a cigarette hanging off her lip. But that day, I had her dressed like a schoolgirl, literal Japanese JK outfit, braided pigtails and all. I knew greasy middle-aged dudes like him wouldn't go for goth. They wanted the fantasy, and we were gonna give it to him. My girl got to the shop, and damn, her acting? Oscar-worthy. If you didn't know any better, you'd really think she was some shy, fresh out of high school kid who'd blush at a dirty joke. She played it cute as hell. She used flowers as an excuse to strike up a convo with the dude. Asked all kinds of questions about plant care. He answered like some botanical guru, throwing around facts like he wrote the book. And my girl? She just stared at him with these big, dewy eyes. Full of admiration. Full of innocence. At the end, she quietly asked for his WhatsApp. Said, "Thanks, Gidge," and scurried off like a schoolgirl who just confessed to her crush. It was classic white moonlight energy. And it worked. That man probably couldn't eat for 3 days straight, haunted by the sweetness of it all. As expected, within a week, they were casually chatting online. She even went back to the shop twice, picked out a couple pots of flowers. On her second visit, he straight up gifted her a top-tier butterfly orchid. She played it cool. "I'm on an e-bike. Can't carry it." No problem. My man rolled up in his shiny secondhand car and delivered it right to her front door. My girl, sly as ever, let him inside. The guy stepped in, looked around her fancy-ass apartment, and realized this wasn't just some cute girl. She was classy, elegant, and clearly out of his league, which made him fall even harder. And when she gave him a little flirtatious smile and brushed up close, he nearly lunged at her. But she pushed him away with a blush and a whisper. Too shy, maybe next time. Left him standing at the door, hard as hell and full of dreams. She told me later, if I wanted to screw him, I could have done it already. Just say the word. I told her, "You're the best, sis." She laughed. Honestly, he's not even that bad to me, just a little gross looking. But hey, bros before creeps. She's gorgeous, by the way. Comes from money, well-kept, curves in all the right places. As for my bro, this dude's a different breed. Sure, he's been through some rough shit, but he's confident as hell and crazy hot. I mean, movie star hot. So I figured this was gonna be easy. His target? The wife. She ran a clothing boutique in the wholesale market. He dropped by a few times, pretended to be shopping for his girlfriend. Now, the first time she saw him, her eyes did light up. Who wouldn't react to that face? But no matter how hard he flirted, she kept her guard up, always pulled away. I almost respected it. Like, damn, lady, you got morals? But still, your husband's out here panting after schoolgirls, and you're out here playing loyal housewife? Make it make sense. Anyway, my boy kept trying. 3 visits in a week. She never bit, but they started talking more. She even praised him for being such a caring boyfriend. They were on their way to being old friends. By the weekend, he tried laying it on thick again. Still no dice. He came to me, frustrated. Bro, she's into me. I can feel it, but she's still not letting down that wall. What do I do? I thought about it. She's not pushing you away, right? So she's at least a little interested. We just need to crack that shell. Then it hit me. Women get jealous. Period. That's our way in. So Monday, he showed up at her store with a drop-dead gorgeous girl hanging on his arm. Introduced her as his girlfriend. They flirted openly, kissed a bit. Really laid it on thick, right there in her shop. Worked like a charm. Wife's face, cold as ice. Smile, gone. The whole friendly small talk vibe, dead. Exactly what we wanted. See, when someone's emotionless, that's dangerous, they don't care. But when they react, when they feel something, that's when you've got them. My bro said she was distant that day. I said, perfect. Let's give her time to stew. A few days passed. Then, Friday night, my bro hit me up with a text. Guess where I am? I replied, where? He sent a video and a text. I'm in Guangzhou. I legit jumped off my couch. Turns out the wife went on a trip that Friday to buy wholesale stock. My bro caught wind of it, booked a last-minute flight, and casually bumped into her on the street. Total rom-com setup. They ran into each other, shared a drink, then another. You know how it goes, drinks turned into dinner, dinner turned into laughs, laughs turned into one hotel keycard. And the rest? Well, let's just say the walls of that hotel saw everything. She finally let loose. And boy, did she let loose. 4 rounds in one night. She practically drained him dry. That video he sent? A full-on sex tape. Filmed from behind. She was moaning so hard she didn't even care he had his phone out. Said she'd do anything. And she meant it. I burst out laughing. Hell yeah, mission accomplished. I sent my bro the money for his flight, but he didn't take it. Screw that, he said. For something this fun? That's on me. 2 days later, they came back from Guangzhou. The next day, my bro came over to find me, looking exhausted but smug. Dude, he said. She's insane. Total freak. Came back around noon yesterday, and by this morning, bam, rolled the shutters down and dragged me in for another round. Didn't even bother being quiet about it. Half the shops next door probably heard. She doesn't give a damn, he added. Girls in deep. Totally addicted. We high-fived. Everything was in place. All we needed now was the final strike. Weekend arrived. Game on. During the week, my girl continued to tease the guy next door. Dude was desperate. Begging level desperate. She told me, he'd literally sniff my sweaty socks and smile about it. I said, time to drop the next bait. So she told him, real soft and flirty. I only like it rough. His eyes nearly popped out of his skull. Rough? He asked. She leaned in close. Yeah, like movie rough. You break in, hit me, tie me up, and just take me. Dude's brain probably exploded. My baby girl, he said. Didn't know you were into that kind of stuff. She giggled. Well, now you know. He nodded like a bobblehead. Then boom, they were off to his place. And just like I scripted it, he went full psycho. Started tearing her clothes, pinning her to the bed, grunting like some caveman. You could practically smell the testosterone. But the best part? We caught it all on camera. She'd rigged her apartment with hidden cams beforehand. Saturday afternoon, my bro took the neighbor's wife to a hotel, just like we planned. I tailed them from a distance, recording every second as they checked in. Then I added the neighbor guy's WhatsApp and waited. About 15 minutes later, moaning started echoing through the hotel walls. Perfect. That's when he accepted my friend request. I sent him the video full volume. No caption. Just one location. Huaihai Road, a tour hotel. Boom. Guy must have lost his damn mind. 10 minutes later, I spotted him barreling down the street in his beat-up sedan, dragging 2 thugs along with him, rage burning out of his eyes. What a hypocrite. Just finished raping a girl pretending to be innocent, and now he's marching into a hotel to catch his own wife cheating. Like he's some goddamn moral crusader? Please. We left the hotel door wide open. When he stormed in, his wife was on top of my bro, riding him like a damn rodeo queen. The room turned into a war zone. She jumped off and started yanking her husband's hair, screaming her lungs out. The 2 goons tried to beat my bro, but come on, he's not new to this game. Pulled out that pepper spray again and wrecked them. While they were rolling on the floor coughing and blind, my girl entered the scene from down the hall, dragging 2 cops behind her. No more games. I led the officers upstairs. They stepped into the chaos and instantly knew what kind of party it was. But adultery isn't their business. What was their business? The dude who just admitted to a home invasion, physical assault, and forced sex. The officer pulled him up, looked him in his swollen, teary eyes and said, "You're under arrest for sexual assault." The guy was still blinking through tears, barely standing. The wife, shocked stupid. My girl grinned, pulled out her phone, and played the footage. That did it. The wife puked on the floor. Screaming, crying, punching, madness. The whole room fell into pure chaos again. And me? I just leaned on the doorframe, smirking. Mission. Fucking. Accomplished. 3 days later, my girl walked into the police station and withdrew her claim. Said she overreacted. Said she forgave the guy. Charges dropped. He got out, bruised, broken, humiliated. I stayed home, waiting. I knew this couple was finished. Done. They couldn't even look at each other without trying to kill. Sure enough, one night I heard the door slam. He was back. Moments later, smashing sounds. Plates, furniture, screaming. The kid crying. More crashing. They must have destroyed the whole apartment. TV, coffee table, everything. This went on for 2 straight hours. Neighbors stopped caring about them a long time ago. Now we all just stood in the hallway watching the fireworks. Eventually, the guy stormed out, face clawed to hell, bleeding everywhere. The wife, on the floor, holding their son, hair a mess, face swollen and bruised. She looked pitiful. Even I couldn't keep watching. A month later, they packed up and disappeared. No one in the compound ever saw them again.